so welcome to day 2 of our Back on Track Yoga Challenge. I'm so excited because today is all about hips and flexibility. So we're going to be stretching out the whole body but really focusing in on opening up those hips, especially because it's coming into autumn and we're going to be sitting a lot more and indoors a lot more. So let's just open up those hips, free the emotions and have a lot of fun. So let's get started. We're going to start in butterfly pose, so a really nice simple beginning to the class. Simply bring the soles of your feet together, and then you can bring your heels closer to your pelvis if you're quite flexible, or the further away they are, the easier it is for you to be able to enjoy this stretch. I like to open my feet out like a book, so you're looking in the soles of your feet, and then just inhale, roll your shoulders down the back, and as you exhale, just start to lean over your feet. So maybe you're bringing the hands down here and dropping your head. Maybe you can already put your forearms down, or maybe you want to actually rest your hands and arms on your legs to try and open up the hips like this. Whatever feels good for you, let's just really ground down at the beginning of this class. Close your eyes and feel as if someone is pushing you from your lower back all the way up the back, allowing a little bit of pressure and heaviness to help you come up and over the feet. Allowing your knees to drop to either side, opening the hips up even more. And let your breath really take you into this deep stretch. So inhale deeply and feel that breath coming all the way down, up from the lower back, through the middle back, and up to the crown of the head, lengthening the spine. And as you exhale, you can sigh out the mouth and just feel yourself become heavy. And see as you fall and fold over the legs and the feet even more. We'll take one more deep inhale like this, inhaling through the nose, feeling it come all the way from the pelvis, the hips, up the back, through the shoulders, into the crown of the head. And as you exhale, feel yourself drop over the legs even more and your hips open. And then slowly inhale and tuck the chin into the chest and walk your hands up to meet the body. Hello again. And just find yourself in a cross-legged position. So you can take the fleshy bits of your butt out from under you and find yourself in a strong and long spine. Inhaling, arms coming up over the head. And exhale, let's take a side stretch. So right hand down and left arm and up overhead. So inhale, really lengthening those fingertips away from the body. And see if you can exhale and drop your left hip down even more. One more breath here. And exhale. And then slowly turn to face that right knee and bring the left hand down. Now you might be up here or further down. Whatever you do, try and keep that left hip down and feel that nice deep stretch along the lower back. Inhaling deeply here, dropping the chin to the chest. Allowing length along the back of the neck as well. And then slowly walking through center. Again, chin into chest, feeling the stretch along the back of both of your hips. Or both sides of your hips, sorry. And then slowly walking over to the other side this time. So we're really taking that stretch along the right side, lower back into the hip. And exhale. And then dropping that left palm down and bringing the right arm up and over the head, getting that nice side stretch in here. So 2 deep breaths, inhaling, lengthening those fingertips away from the body. Maybe this time exhale and see if you can drop that right shoulder blade down the back, giving more opening in the chest. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly bringing both hands down. Uncross your feet and find yourself into a tabletop, however feels good for you. So, as always, we have the hips over the knees, and then we're starting with the shoulders over the wrists, where we're going to slowly come into puppy pose by walking those hands out in front of us, trying to keep the lower body as it is, and simply dropping your forehead down to the mat. So we're getting a really nice deep stretch in the shoulders here. This should feel good for anyone who seems to hunch over a computer like myself most of the day. Drop the chest down, maybe see if you can drop your armpits down even more. Try and stay strong in the hands. Feeling that deep stretch in the shoulders and the armpits. And then slowly lifting that forehead up, walking your hands back and finding yourself into a tabletop. That should feel really good, so you might want to roll it out here. And then we're just going to simply bring our right foot forward. So we're coming into a low lunge. If it doesn't look that graceful, don't worry, just get yourself there. And let's take some hip circles. So we're moving with breath. So inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the motion of your hips. Seeing how your knee feels, how the thigh feels. Maybe it feels a bit weird doing this in the beginning, but don't worry. Just do whatever feels comfortable for you, even if it's just a slight rock back and forward. We're just opening up the hips, giving them some movement. And remember to switch directions, so go roll in the other way. See how your hips feel. Maybe there's some pops and cracks. That's totally normal. It happens for you every day. And then slowly coming back to stillness. We're going to walk our right foot out to the right side of the mat and find yourself in lizard pose. If your knee is starting to hurt, feel free to double up the mat and drop your knee on there. It's really good for protecting it here. There's no need for that to hurt. And then lizard pose here. So this is quite an intense posture already. So maybe you already have the foot to the side and you're just like this. Or maybe your palms are down. Or if you feel comfortable, you can also bring your forearms down. If your foot wants to splay open, then let it. Don't worry, that's totally fine here. And maybe if you want a more intense stretch, you can also lift that back knee off the mat. Wherever you are today, just enjoy closing your eyes here and just feeling into the hips. So breathe deeply. And as you breathe in, because these can be quite intense stretches, see if you can breathe a nice yellow energy into the hip area, allowing it to soften. See if there's anything tensing in your body that doesn't need to be tensed, and just let it go. Sometimes full body relaxation helps us get deeper into the stretch. And then slowly walking back onto the palms if you were on your forearms, and then bringing your foot into the middle of the mat, planting both hands on the mat, and we're just going to tuck the back toes under and step back into plank. Now I always like to add a bit of strength in, so we're just going to stay here for 10, for 9, really focusing on a long spine, 7, 6, 5, 4, you've got this, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Bringing the knees down. This time you're just going to simply bring your left foot forward this time. So we're now back in the same position but in the low lunge with the left foot in front. And let's take those circles here. So coming forward and really breathing deeply here. See if small circles or really deep, long circles work for you. Breathing. And then reversing the directions. Seeing if there's any differences between both sides. If so, don't worry, that's totally normal. And then slowly coming back into stillness. Now walking the left foot out to the side this time, we're going to do the same lizard pose on this side. So taking the same variation as you did on the last one, maybe tucking the mat under, maybe you're on your hands, maybe you're already up here holding onto the knee, or maybe you're on your forearms. And if there wasn't enough options, you can tuck under your toes and also lift that knee. Okay, 2 deep breaths here, inhaling. And exhale, see if you can soften into this stretch. Inhaling. And exhale, sigh out the mouth. If you're on your forearms, come back up. Slowly bring your foot into the center of the mat. Plant both hands on the mat, and this time just step back into a nice downward facing dog. So wide out the fingers, make sure the hands are as wide as they can possibly be. Dropping those shoulders from the ears and maybe bending your knees here just to get a nice length in the spine. And then we're going to go straight away into bringing the right foot in the middle of the mat, lifting that left leg out behind us, and then bringing the left foot in between the hands. Slowly inhale and lift your way up into high lunge, And we're not going to be here for long because we're going to exhale and straight into warrior two. Now warrior two, normally we're thinking about leg activation, trying to balance out the strength, the arms. It's quite an intense posture to hold. But also, if you grab here, you can feel that your hips are doing quite a lot of work here. So the more you bend deeply into that front leg, the more you see your hips open. So it's also a really great stretch. We'll just take one more deep breath here, feeling strong in our warrior two. And then slowly straighten out that front leg, and now we're going to come into triangle. I like to walk my back foot in a little bit. And then as you exhale, really lengthen away, bring those left fingertips towards the top of the mat. And then either drop your hand down onto the thigh, onto the shin, or maybe onto the floor. And then we're going to hold in triangle pose for one long breath, feeling as if you're leaning back and really opening up the hip, being strong here. And then bend back into that front leg, warrior two, windmill the hands down, and step back, downward facing dog. Now let's keep going, we've only got a short time together, so now right foot's in the middle of the mat, left foot's in the middle of the mat, right leg comes back, and then the right foot comes forward, inhaling into our nice high lunge, and then exhaling, opening out, warrior two. So again, just really maybe you want to feel also those parts of your groin and see how that hip is opening here, bringing that knee towards the pinky toe really opens the hip up even more, so does bending deeper into this leg. One breath, and exhale, and then maybe straightening that front leg first, walking that back leg out, and then lengthening those right fingertips this time, and dropping down into triangle pose. So one deep breath here as we lean back, opening the chest, and exhale. On the inhale, come back up, bend into your front leg again, warrior two. Windmill those hands down, and step back into downward facing dog. Great work. Catch your breath, one breath here, inhale. And exhale, maybe sigh out the mouth and shake out the head. And then slowly walking those feet in towards the hands, bringing the feet as wide as the mat. And then we're going to drop our hips down with the toes pointing outwards, heels inward into yogi squat malasana. So this can be quite intense also. So if you're up here, don't worry, you can also just use your hands to hold you. But try to drop the heels down, putting the weight onto the heels. And then if you can, bring the hands to heart center to use your elbows to push those knees open, lengthening the spine. And I like to always feel like there's a weight hanging from my butt and then the helium in my heart, so it helps you to really lengthen the spine and drop the hips down. Close the eyes. Inhale here. And exhale, you can sigh out the mouth. One last inhale. And exhale, slowly dropping the hips down, coming into seated onto the mat. Amazing work. So we have one last stretch on each side. We're going to start by lengthening the left leg out. So see if you can get the left leg straight on the mat and try and flex those feet. And then what we're going to do is cross over that right leg. So you're trying to get the knee on top of the left knee. So right knee on top of the left and flexing that foot. That's ideal. You might be up here and that's totally okay. All we're going to work on is, first of all, bringing the fingertips by our hips and inhaling, lengthening up the spine. And then just see if you can slowly fold over those legs. Now it starts to get really intense really quickly because this is stretching the internal hip muscles, which we don't reach so much. So don't worry if it feels slightly a little bit painful, that's okay. If it's too painful, please come out. But really work on yourself, try and close your eyes and see if you can again lift from the lower back through the spine. And exhale, walk your hands out even further. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale. Slowly walking those hands up to meet the body. Now bring both feet onto the mat and just windshield wipe your knees from either side. I haven't driven a car in a while, so I forgot what that was. And then let's just take it on the other side here. So now right leg goes out, try and get that straight, foot flexed, bringing the left knee over. Now this side feels different for me as well, so don't worry if you're feeling like the knee is higher on one side. Try and flex that opposite foot, bringing the hands down by the side and using that to lengthen your spine up. Feel tall, open the chest. And then exhale, just folding over the legs, bringing the hands down, closing off the eyes. And seeing if with the inhale you can really lengthen from the lower back. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly chin into the chest. Walking those hands back up to meet you. And then finding yourself in a nice comfortable seated position in the middle of the mat. So, hands together at heart center, and thank yourself for joining me for day 2. We only have 3 days left, so we're going to do tomorrow meditation, breath work, and a little bit of movement, and then we'll go into a power yoga on Thursday, which will be, I think we'll start with the legs and the glutes, and then on Friday we'll work on the abs and the arms, and then you're done. So congratulations for joining, and I'll see you next time.